Okay, and welcome to this brief presentation about the new grading and assessment arrangements for pupils in examination classes. We have done assembly this week for years 11 through to 13, okay, and for those pupils in the early entrant maths classes. They will also be included in this assessment and grading for this year. This is the presentation that we went through with the pupils, okay, and I just want to emphasize a few points for you. We are still waiting further guidance from Qualifications Wales, WJC, Welsh Government, and as soon as we get any of this guidance, we will update you as soon as we possibly can. I'm sure you're aware that we don't get this guidance until you actually see it as well in the press or it's announced, okay, on social media by the Welsh Government. So please bear with us while we get this information and then digest it. Okay, so a little bit of a review of assessment and a bit of timeline of what's happened this year. At the start of September, the school, the senior leadership team and all the staff have actually been planning for two eventualities. Okay, we couldn't foresee what was coming, so we planned for examinations or some form of external assessment at the end of the year, plus teachers having to produce a grade, as we did for the CAG for last year. So all our planning from September has been for those two eventualities, and that started with us working with departments, heads of departments, subject teachers to provide robust assessment plans while we were in school. Those assessment plans would use past paper questions. They would make sure the non-examination units were completed and marked using the mark schemes so that we'd have a clear picture of where we are in terms of performance as we went through the year. In October, Kirsty Williams announced that there would be no formal examinations. So that meant that our plans were still in place. Okay, they were still supporting us having to produce a grade, or at that point it was going to be a three-pillar approach at the start of January, which has now been scrapped. And on the 20th of this month, we were asked to, or informed, sorry, that we need to produce centre-determined grades. Now, at the moment, this does not include vocational subjects. So for some of your children, they'll be sitting and studying for some vocational subjects and the skills charge certificate. Okay, so BTEC, sport, the suite qualification, ASDAN qualifications, skills charge certificate, that A-level performing arts, again sport. These are not included in this at the moment, and we still await further guidance. Okay, so the centre determined grade. So they changed the name from last year when it was centre assessed grade. It's now called a centre determined grade. This will be determined by the school and the teachers based on assessment of your child's work. We will be asked to use a range of evidence to determine the grades, including non-examination elements, mock exams, and just a little bit about mock exams here. This is a term that Welsh Government, the government in England keep on using, okay. Lots of centres, including ours, would have not have a time to put in place mock examinations this year, and also not the venues to make sure they were done socially distanced. So as a school, we do not have mock exam results, but we have had robust assessments completed in class. We've got classwork tasks that will be completed, some home learning work. Okay, the range that we will use will be holistic and not just based on the upcoming assessments when we get back into school. We know that when we get back into school, students are going to be very worried and concerned about these assessments that are coming up. Be assured that we'll be planning these very carefully throughout the time we're back in school, okay, whenever we get back in, and we'll be ensuring that your children are well prepared for those assessments. We will, as a school, need to submit for each subject area an assessment plan. It is this assessment plan which we have been told will be quality assured by the WJC. We haven't had any deadlines on when this has got to be done so far. We've had some preliminary information that WJC will release some more information around the middle of February. Okay, so we're still waiting for this. In addition, the WJC at some point will produce a set of adapted papers which can be used to help assess learning within the teaching plans. So as a school, we will look at, and we have started looking at our assessment plans that we put in place at the start of the year. We have started to look at how we could maybe adapt them now for future assessments, and we will be using some of these adapted past papers to ensure consistency across the school and across the country. We will also, however, use historical data and the prior ability data of the current cohorts to ensure fairness in determining grades. Qualifications Wales have already stated that the grade boundary, not grade boundaries, but the sort of grade distribution should be, for this year, so 2021, should be in line with 2020 grade distributions. So we'll be looking at those grade distributions, looking at our historical data, the prior ability of current cohorts in each subject to see where we lie. We've already done a lot of work on this, looking at where we lie over time. Okay, is it above or below national averages? And at Bryntirion, a lot of our data is above national averages over a period of 4 years. We also know the prior ability of data for the current cohorts through different measures. We use statistical modelling from a company called FFT and ALPS. Okay, we use that to help us look at prior ability. We're going to use all those to ensure that there's fairness in determining grades. But it's really important to remember that while we're not in school, okay, we are still learning and we still need to make sure we're engaging, and that includes when we get back into school as well. Okay, we know it's really difficult for your children at the moment and for you. Okay, I've got a child myself who is in year 10, and it is a challenge to make sure that we're getting these people and our children engaged and doing all the work. It's not easy from home. Okay, we'd all rather be in school helping your child to get the qualifications they need. But we're going to try to make sure that we do our best we can. We're constantly reviewing our online provision and trying to make improvements over a period of time. It is vital, though, that your child continues to engage in all the learning activities that the school and the subject teachers provide. They are being set to allow your child to make progress. Heads of department, subject teachers are constantly reviewing the content that they're delivering, making sure that work and they're getting through the course, so that when they come into school, they'll be ready and supported to make and then take any assessments that we need to do. We have collected data on engagement, okay, and we took a snapshot after the first 8 days with years 11, 12 and 13. Some parents have been contacted. We've tried to contact all students individually in years 12 and 13 to discuss their engagement. In year 11, we focused on phoning the parents in the first case, and then you received the data. Okay, can you please encourage your child to try to make sure that they are getting the ones or the twos, that they're getting the work done, they're accessing the work being set, they're submitting the work is being set. If you still have any issues with access to the internet or access to individual devices for your child, please make contact with the school. To date, we've provided learners with 65 Chromebooks to support their learning. We still have more available in school. So if your child, especially in an exam year group, 11, 12 or 13, is sharing a device at home, okay, or is only accessing on a phone, please contact the school and we'll try to arrange a Chromebook to be delivered to you. So we're going to continue to track this engagement. Okay, you will all receive a report sent home at the end of this half term. Okay, we're hoping now that with the assemblies we've done, with discussions with teachers, and that engagement will improve and we can get pupils continuing their learning, albeit in a different way. Once we're back in school, we'll revert to tracking the attitude to learning in lessons and the effort outside lessons. It's very complex for us to actually produce these determined grades at the moment. So what we'll be doing as a school is that we will not be sharing any future current predicted grades with you. Okay. At the moment, we don't know what the new assessments will look like. We don't know what grade boundaries look like. We want to ensure that when we do produce the centre determined grade, that we use a range of evidence, that evidence has been carefully considered and used, and with the predictability of your child used, and looking at previous cohorts and national data to make sure that centre determined grade is as robust and as accurate as we can make it. We are still waiting on news and information on appeals processes with these assessments. Once we get those, they will be shared with you. In the meantime, can I just please encourage that you continue to make sure that your child is engaging in the learning. If you have any queries, please email the school. Okay, please don't email or try to contact individual teachers directly. Please refer your questions to the head of year, to admin, or to members of the senior leadership team, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. Okay, take care all and stay safe.